Representative Isaacson, thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here.
What do you do for a professional career, and can you share a little bit about your life outside the Capitol?
Sure. I teach at Century College. My career professionally has been related mostly to working in education. I'm passionate about working at community colleges. I oftentimes think of community colleges as the last line of defense for the middle class, and gives them a real chance to retool, especially as we just went through this recession. It's also a wonderful place to go to help folks who maybe left high school and didn't think college was for them and now are coming back, or just trying to figure things out. So it's a real great place to really help turn some people around and get them focused on a possible career, and I love it. I also do consulting on the side for communications, any type of messaging, that sort of thing. And in my personal life, I have a newborn at home, Ivor, who is absolutely amazing. My wife and I are very lucky, and I like to fish a lot.
Can you describe the district you represent and tell us what your constituents care about?
Yeah, I represent 42B, which is the northeast corner of Roseville, Southern Shoreview, all of Little Canada, Vadnais Heights, and Gem Lake, which is a little town between Vadnais Heights and White Bear Lake. My constituents are, it's a suburban district. We have a lot of folks in the area who will probably commute out to Minneapolis, St. Paul, or businesses in the area. We do have a wealth of businesses in our area, as well as some Fortune 500 companies even, when you're looking at like St. Jude Medical and some other groups, Par Nuclear and Westinghouse. And there's just a lot of really great employment opportunities and great technology going on in my district. It's a conglomeration of 3 different school districts, Roseville, Mounds View, and White Bear Lake, and all 3 of them have some really wonderful opportunities for students and to be successful, and they're very well thought of. And so my constituents seem to be very concerned about a lot of things that I hopefully have been able to mirror myself, in that they're really concerned about taking care of people. They're really concerned about providing opportunity for success, really making sure people have a chance to be successful and helping them do that. And I think that because I have 5 lakes in my district, I believe, they have a pretty strong environmental awareness, not only just as taking care of our waters, but also managing the property and making sure that my area stays worth something, and the lakes are clean and the air is clean and that kind of stuff.
What legislation have you worked on in the past that you are most proud of?
I would say that when we're looking at the accomplishment where I feel like legislation that actually resulted in tangible effects, my housing bill that I put forward that brought $22 million more into the base of working with people that are homeless or in efforts to prevent homelessness in a wide variety. The Homes for All Coalition came together and did a wonderful job kind of putting together a package for us to see a bigger picture, and to see them collaborate that way was really what we hoped in our constituents. And so a bill that came forth and addressed all kinds of aspects of the housing market in terms of not just homelessness, but how do we repair state buildings that provide services to people, and making sure that we allow for places like Brainerd, Minnesota, that has a housing crisis because they don't have enough of them, to some support as well. So I think that my housing bill is something that I'm the most proud of in terms of the work we did last session.
What do you see as the biggest challenge the state will face in the next 10 years?
Well, I mean, you can kind of break it down by categories because each person's category seems very important to them. I think that, you know, you could even start with just the environment and making sure our lakes and water stays clear and plentiful. We have a problem with invasive species, and as you know, by looking at the situation in White Bear Lake, we have a problem with draining some of our aquifers, and so that'll be a big one. If I had to narrow down the biggest, you know, other than, of course, being competitive globally with education, I think that we're looking at the problem of the spend down and what we're doing with our senior population, and that we're on an unsustainable course right now in terms of how we're spending our money and taking care of folks. As that balloon in the population size of the baby boomers begins to retire, we need to find more sustainable ways to provide support to those folks, meanwhile maintaining the Minnesota quality of living that we have grown to love. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest financial challenges we're going to be facing over the next 10, maybe even longer years.
If given the chance, who would you like to be for a day, or who would you like to exchange roles with?
Can I pick the day also or not?
Sure.
Because if I could pick the day also, it'd be Thomas Jefferson in a heartbeat.
And why Thomas Jefferson?
when you look at the structure, the intellectual structure, and many of the norms we follow just as the basic rules of society that we take for granted, he kind of invented them, right? I mean, it was his pushing of many things. If you look at the way he wrote the Declaration of Independence, you look at the way he did a lot of the stuff. I mean, he didn't have the, you know, the best lifestyle necessarily, but when it comes to having a keen understanding of intent, you know, most of it starts and ends with him. I mean, he was in many ways the brains behind a lot of the founding principles of our country on so many levels. So to be him for a day around the time of the signing of the Declaration of Independence would be pretty unbelievable.